Day 3 dawns in Melbourne for the 2017 NJCAA Division I Women's Soccer Championship. So glad to have you along. This is going to be game number 9 overall as we begin the last day of pool play. Lewis and Clark, the Trailblazers, 17-2, the 8 seed, taking on the Phoenix Bears, undefeated, 22-0-1. Out of course, Phoenix, Arizona, the 1 seed. Jeff Radcliffe alongside Bradford Evans one more time here today as we get through pool play. And it's simple here today for really, especially the first 3 pools. You win, you're in.
Exactly. It's as simple as that. You control your own destiny, which is nice. You don't have to rely on goal differential. In the last group you do. But every other group, that it went according to plan, right? Everybody, the higher seed won, the lower seed lost. And what that does is it sets up a tantalizing proposition.
Starting lineups right after this.
End zone. Caught. Touchdown. The Barnes and Olympico and a goal. Barnes shot a goal. Unbelievable.
And we're back on a beautiful morning here at the Titan Soccer Complex on the campus of Eastern Florida State College. Trailblazers and Bears getting set to do action. And let's meet the teams. Take a look at the starting lineups. Lewis and Clark played yesterday. Bradford. Katie Hudson had 6 saves in goal. Really, Nadi Letzi and Cassidy Luval were the story.
Those two up top were really getting their way, running behind, doing whatever they pleased.
Caitlin Schneider and Rebecca Tonks, really, really strong central defenders. And they're going to be tested today if we take a look at the Phoenix College Bears starting lineup after a day of rest and reckoning, perhaps after getting tested more than they had hoped. The front 3 of Estrada, Gonzalez, and Figueroa, all players with over 20 goals scored. In fact, they've combined for 73 goals and 48 assists.
Yeah, the 3-headed monsters, I like to call it, the MSN of the NJCAA. Really talented top front 3, and they should have their work cut out for them against a good defense.
One change the Bears will have to make is Leslie Esparza is going to be on the bench as starting center back just due to a yellow card accumulation.
Yeah.
They're just being cautious because they're not sure about the
exactly,
rules.
Because the NCAA rule requires if it's 8 yellow cards, you sit out. For this, as we checked yesterday, it was 3 for the yellow card accumulation for the tournament, but they just start erring on the side of caution. You do not want to be DQ'd for playing a player that's not supposed to be playing.
Chris Sager there, been there the last 10 years, playing it safe as the team's now making the processional onto the pitch. Tom Rooney, the legendary coach, after 31 seasons will be retiring. Could this be the last game? It is certainly possible, but Lewis and Clark will provide a big challenge today. We certainly think that. What is one of the keys here for Phoenix College to ensure that top seed doesn't get upset?
For Phoenix College, you got to make sure that you go out and attack. Get in attack mode quickly. Stay organized. Move up as a team. Don't have any players isolated in that attack, and you'll be successful.
Take time now to listen in to the national anthem. Trailblazers and Bears getting set. You'll see Phoenix to the right there in the gold and white hoops on the tops. They're the home team, the top seed. Lewis and Clark moves to the road jerseys today after getting a very dramatic win yesterday. They'll be wearing the blue uniforms. Both of these teams knocked off Georgia Military, a very pesky number 12 seed.
Yeah.
In both instances took them to a one-goal game.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to both of these coaches before the game, Rooney and Sager, and they both said that Georgia Military College was not a 12 seed, and that's very apparent. They were one of the better lower seeds in this tournament, honestly. They were close in every game. They could have won yesterday. They could have won the day before as well. So both these teams are battle-tested, facing a very good team heading into this final group stage game of Group A.
Trailblazers ranked number 9 in the country. The Bears number 1, as you'd expect, being the number 1 seed, undefeated. Lewis and Clark, 2 losses on the season and have come to a ranked competition in Monroe Community College back in October. And the very next day, so it was the 14th and 15th, they lost to Schoolcraft, a team that we will see tonight against Eastern Florida State College.
Yeah, that was probably the game of the tournament so far. They're in a 5-4 match. Schoolcraft scoring a goal late.
How did you sleep last night after watching that?
Yeah, no, the adrenaline was pumping for quite a while. Maybe I had to take a Benadryl to calm down and sleep or something. But I was tossing and turning, thinking about how great of a game that was.
Players will shake hands and come out fighting. And always that first 5 or 10 minutes that we'll see. Obviously, they've scouted each other. They've both watched the respective games against Georgia Military. Phoenix came from behind to win 2-1. It was Lozano and Perez scoring goals in that game after a wonder strike by Noalwell against the keeper, Steph Barreras, who will probably stay on her line today after coming out on that goal.
She's probably gotten instructions from former keeper Chris Sager, and he played keeper at a very high level as well, and he realizes sometimes the tendencies that you have as a keeper that you need to break, some bad habits, I guess you could say. Being out on your line isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you just have to make sure you're doing it at the right time. And sometimes it can come back to haunt you, as we saw in that first game.
Lewis and Clark's keepers, Katie Hudson, the Region 24 goalkeeper of the year, had 6 saves yesterday in that 3-2 victory that got taken to extra time. So that was Luval scoring twice early in the 10th, and then the winner in the 94th, and Letzi there also in the first half. All that speed there from the native of Lesotho.
And you really wouldn't guess that your leading scorer is out if you're Lewis and Clark the way they played yesterday, especially offensively.
Good point.
Audrey Andrzejewski. So that's just kind of really amazing to me. Just if they had her here at this tournament, I mean, this is already going to be a good game, but I would say maybe even an upset. We'll see what happens. The goalies have their tendencies of things they like to do. Katie Hudson right there jumping up and down and just getting her nerves. Yesterday we saw Grace Rollins for Moraine Valley. Every time a corner came up, she'd jump up and grab the post. You know, everybody has their tendencies.
Exactly. Superstition does take precedent at times. So the Trailblazers, women's soccer champions, 2 national titles to their credit, 99 and 2008, all under the direction of Tom Rooney, who again is retiring after 31 years. How about 400 wins each at the men's and women's level? And of course, the Region 24 Coach of the Year again. Chris Sager has been at Phoenix for 10 years, previously the assistant coach. Former Youth International with Trinidad and Tobago, quite the career, University of Wisconsin Parkside. We are underway in Melbourne. Day 3 has dawned. And it will be Phoenix attacking left to right. And love to get in behind as they look for Eludith Gonzalez for the first time. Going down into the corner, disrupted just enough. And that will be pounded out for a throw.
So that just sets the tempo there from the beginning, Jeff. First 30 seconds of play, and they play direct over on the right flank. Good thinking there, and good job to pose your will and establish your style of play.
But Alexandria Smith under pressure immediately, and we'll come back to the Trailblazers here on a throw. Phoenix 15 straight wins. The lone blemish on the record, a draw against number 20 Arizona Western. That was back in September.
And we touched on it. That region's so tough. One of the best.
Yes.
Paradise Valley last year winning this, coming from that region. There's always talent in Arizona and the Southwest, too.
This Phoenix team beat Paradise Valley by 1 goal counts twice during the season. And it was Arizona Western they beat in the region final to earn their spot here for the first time. 3-1 is it's going to be in the hands of the keeper, Katie Hudson, out of Rolla, Missouri.
Yeah, Laura Figueroa, they're just a nice strike, though. Hit it one time online. You know, it's not going to completely perturb Katie Hudson, but still a nice strike to make sure she's ready.
Well, on paper, day 3 usually the most competitive with everything on the line, but also the seeds going chalk in the first 3 regions. So 1 versus 8 here. The best possible scenario you would see.
I mean, speaking of Region D, though, talk about an underseeded team in Iowa Western, right? They played so many tough teams, so many ranked teams. That's why they had those 5 losses, 6 losses now with Eastern Florida, but still, you know.
Yeah, 5 of those 6 losses coming from ranked top competition. And then able to earn a result last night against Schoolcraft, which was a crushing defeat for the Ocelots. Who will play again tonight, but things really out of their hands. I mean, they could win the game, but would need to win by a substantial margin.
Yeah, crazier things have
chance.
happened, right? So you have to go out and play the best you can.
Yeah, got to play the game. Win.
Herm Edwards, you play to win the game,
Yes.
right?
More famous quotes. Just underway here. Let's take a look at the shot earlier from Figueroa.
This one just kind of 50-50 ball flicked up over to the right-hand side. A little bit of luck on that flick, but still just a one-time. That takes a lot of skill, a lot of technical ability.
There's a free kick from the 4th official area. Short. Dealt with by Letzi.
It'll be interesting to see. So far, it seems like Phoenix College has had the upper hand. You know, they have 2 shots, and Lewis and Clark just can't be scared. They can't be afraid that they're playing the #1 overall seed here. They have to get forward when they can. The opportunities will be there. You want to definitely utilize the fact that Leslie Esparza, the center back, is not playing in this game. So use it to your advantage.
Karen Alvarez Cardona slips back there to help.
Look at the off-ball runs that they're making up top, though. It's really impressive to see. That's what you like from your forwards. You like to see them moving constantly and dragging defenders into areas they don't want to be in.
Taken at the halfway line, lifted to the right side. Here's Brenda Lozano, who had a goal against Georgia Military. Back at the foot of Gonzalez. And the angle played properly by Alexandria Smith, freshman out of Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah, she wasn't really fooled by that in and out move that was attempted by Gonzalez. She was ready for it. Good defending.
Yields the corner. Not even 5 minutes in. This one getting up into the wind over the top of the bar.
I've seen that a lot so far this tournament. People can't really account for the wind in there. They're kicking it. It goes either sails behind the net or hits the post. Sometimes you just have to take that into account. You have to say, okay, the wind is blowing about 10 miles from left to right, so I have to play it a little bit further away than I normally would so that ball can whip in and catch some speed.
Not only will the wind change speeds, but it can change direction here on the eastern coast of Florida, coming off that sea breeze. This will go behind and yield a goal kick for Lewis and Clark, and 18-2 on the season.
I'm sure Lewis and Clark know that, though. They're from Illinois. It wind constantly over there, so they're used to kicking it and coming right back to them. Kind of like, what were those toys you'd throw up and they'd come back? The Boomerang, yes, exactly. Jeez, it left me for a bit, but that's kind of how it is sometimes.
I was like the
wind.
Nerf variety because I couldn't hurt anybody with it.
Exactly.
Unable to keep that in. Godfrey, Illinois, where Lewis and Clark are from. That's in the St. Louis metro area. And a matrix moment for Katie Hudson. Hudson delivers, immediately dealt with by Figueroa. A lot of action coming here on this near side of the field so far.
And something you can do here, Jeff, is if you see Phoenix College is bunched over to the near sideline. If you're Lewis and Clark, switch the field, and it allows your center mid over there and your winger to get into space, which can cause problems because this side's so overloaded.
Having touch, one forced inside. A
nice
Figueroa.
Tackle. Really nice tackle there.
Tonks.
By Tonks.
Strong yesterday, of course, on All-Region 24 player out of Southampton, England. And let's see, just ready to break out of that garage and go. Here's Laval.
Got to play it over to the far sideline. There we go.
Stepping to and broken up. Lifted towards Gonzalez. Back goal kick as the action's been pretty exclusively here the first 7 minutes and change here on the right side of the field, so the attacking half of the Bears.
Yeah, and that might be a strategic thing that Chris Sager sees. He says, hey, I like something over on this near sideline, and we're going to try to exploit it.
Foul there brings down.
What it's going to do if it continues this way, it's going to allow Lewis and Clark, as I said earlier, to switch the field. But that can allow for really dangerous propositions because nobody's there to account for it defensively. And we saw Nat Da Silva really just kind of hanging out on the left side. Nobody marked her, and look what she did. She got a brace.
Quickly, Barreras pressed into duty, will race all the way to the corner flag, and now we'll have to play with her foot. The Mexican Youth International, very adept at doing that, and now chasing back. Lewis and Clark has it safely in hand. Megan McDonald doing the work to get back.
So far in the first game I saw with Barreras, one of her strengths here is really the distribution she has with her feet and just throwing it out. She knows exactly what she's doing, puts it in good spots all the time. That's an underrated quality in a goalkeeper.
Claire Dalton lifts it ahead, looking for Luval, getting one behind one defender, one more to beat. They'll send it right in on frame, but Barreras is there, has that near post cover.
Yeah, there was no real option to do anything other than take a shot there, so good job. As we see here, ball bounces around, it's chested down, collected nicely. Nobody's there to help her in the attack, so she shoots it. Barreras tests her early. So first shot on goal for Lewis and Clark.
Squared out left, Milpas will take the space afforded to her and keep the run going. Initially stopped. Now the chase is on from Stephanie Estrada. And an assist on Monday. Number 25 in the nation in goals scored, Stephanie Estrada. Sophomore out of Phoenix.
I mean, speaking of Phoenix, Chris Sager was just so proud that he's an Arizona guy, really. He's been there for so long.
Yes.
His entire team is in the Phoenix metro area, so they're really representing that region well. And I'm sure the city of Phoenix is proud they're doing it.
And it's a mirror image for Tom Rooney as well, as most of his players come from the St. Louis metro. So really taking advantage of the talent that is in those metropolitan areas. The Trailblazers have a few internationals like Ellen Johnston. And Letzi, of course. Meanwhile, Bears will have another free kick. Nothing too troubling for either goalkeeper at the moment. Just over 10 minutes in. Big win. Ball drops on the ground. Hansen comes away with it. Tackle attempt. Eventually turned over to the Bears. Figueroa forcing the pass in. And that will be right into the gut of Katie Hudson.
See, not a good, or I mean, not a bad attempt there from far out. But like I said, anything from outside the 18-yard box has to be something really special.
Touch from Gonzalez.
Got to get back defensively, Lewis and Clark.
Oh.
Didn't pay for it there, but
what we're seeing from Lewis and Clark is they do not necessarily play the high line defensively, so you're not seeing as many runs in behind as we saw early on in the game against Georgia Military, where they were in a defensive posture really quick.
Absolutely, and Coach Rooney, I think, saw that, and he says, play off them. They're pacey, and if we don't run that offside trap correctly, then you're screwed.
Let them build it, and if they can earn it that way.
Exactly. And I think that plays away from the strength of Phoenix. They like to get in behind, and they're not being allowed to do so.
Able to do so here momentarily. Cross is away. Again, it was Megan Pierce there doing defensive duty. We'll have a throw-in.
So from the far side here, interception for the time being, and then it's just struck by Figueroa on frame.
One sent to the back of the box. Corralled. Pushed off the ball and cleared.
A good job clearing it there by Nadi Letzi. Sometimes a thing that can happen when it's in the attacking third is you try to pass it around and try to move it out that way. And really the best choice is to just clear it. Just get rid of it and deal with that later, because it can lead to opportunities with the ball getting intercepted.
Yeah. Another thing, and we saw this yesterday with the Trailblazers backline, they are not afraid of getting stuck in and stepping to a player that's running at them.
Absolutely.
So it's disruptive to the Bears' buildup, because they know they have some pace to be able to recover. Again, shielding well. A little foul. Good job. It's Taylor Murphy getting the start. Outside back. And now she's shaken up. Trainer will tend, and just got clipped. Sniper got her. A beautiful day to come out and see some high-quality soccer.
As you can see yesterday, the day started out beautifully, and then the rain came in.
As soon as I left.
You're the good luck charm, Jeff.
No, not usually. Don't tell the crew. It's not usually the case at all. As Murphy, the freshman out of Hazelwood, Missouri, being checked. Immediately, Tom Rooney may have to go to his bench.
If we really talk about this weather, though, what a pleasure to be able to live in the state of Florida.
This time of year?
Have this time of year. I mean, maybe not in July. It's not as fun.
Come back in July and see if
exactly
the same thing.
But for these for these months, man, it just doesn't get better than this.
Yep. You're going to become a snowbird.
Well, I'm already in a good region. This is comparable to it. You know, we get a great winter as well, where it's 70s all the time. And you know, you either have people live in Arizona, Florida, California if they're snowbirds.
Yeah. You have options. If you want the super heat, you go down into the desert. If you go up into the mountains if you want the cool. And gingerly walking off the pitch here. Some concern here for Taylor Murphy.
Taylor Murphy subbing in for Ellen Johnston, really. I mean, she's not playing in the same position, but that's the only change in the starting lineup here. She's already walking off. Let's hope she's okay. So far for the Trailblazers, the identity hasn't really been formed. They're feeling things out right in the first 15 minutes, but still they play direct. They like to get in behind, and Nadi Letsy is a fast player with a lot of pace, so why don't you try that, you know? Hold on to the ball a little bit, pass it around, and get it forward.
Oh, run comes to the left side. Laval with some space will cut it to the left foot, beats one defender. Numbers tracking back for Phoenix, though. Laval will put it to Barreras and collects it just inside her 6.
Something to watch there. If you saw the defense, they were swarming and cutting off the lanes from Nadi Letsy. She didn't have any opportunity to get the ball in from the left-hand side because she was so well marked.